We have Klaus Dibbern of Flinc, a ride-sharing service launching soon. And then we have Beres Seelbach. He is one of the earliest electric mobility retailers. He already built a retail chain for electric mobility on 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels, as many wheels as you want. And, oh, exactly. So you take the green one. Let me take this one.
You're green.
As a matter of fact, we have more people than I originally counted. That's OK. And Michael Kuhn from Daimler Business Innovation, Car2gether. Basically a competitor of Klaus, which makes it interesting because he's a big company and he's a small company. And then we have Konrad, another startup company in Germany called Tamyca. It stands for Take My Car, and they are working on peer-to-peer car sharing. And then we have Knut Hechtfischer of Ubitricity, and they are working on a new platform for EV charging. So I want to give everybody of you a 1-minute elevator pitch opportunity. And why don't we start with you?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. So what are we doing? We try to make infrastructure for e-mobility and thereby e-mobility more affordable. We are working on a more efficient solution that reduces complexity and redundancies in infrastructure that is necessary to deliver in a smart way energy to future users of electric vehicles, not only at home, but en route, at work, and so on. And we are doing that by placing the intelligence in the car and making the infrastructure, leaving the infrastructure as dumb as it was the last 100 years, and thereby reducing costs by, say, 90 to 95%.
And you recently raised money from a venture capitalist?
Yeah, we last year raised a Series A financing round and are currently, mainly developing the necessary consortium and partnerships to implement the system.
When do you plan to launch in the market?
We plan to demonstrate later this year. We plan then to larger field tests in the course of next year. Let's say, ambitious title of that project that is going to start next year is 1,000 sockets for Berlin. Market introduction cannot seriously happen before e-mobility happens. So that is going to happen in 2013.
OK. Klaus.
OK, thank you very much. We've heard a lot about car sharing and bike sharing just in the speeches before. We take a different approach. We do ride sharing. So in every car that's on the road, there's on average 1.3 people in the car, which means there are 3 seats at least free on average, empty seats. And we want to fill these seats with people who want to go from A to B. We do this by combining the capabilities of smartphones, location-based, with the capabilities of sat-nav systems and building on social networks. So you must imagine you want to go from here to the airport, you take out your iPhone or your smartphone, you just input, I want to go to the airport, and that's it. And on the other side, a driver who's on the street has his navigation system turned on, has Flinc integrated in the navigation system, and it pops up in his display that Klaus wants to go to the airport. The detour is 2 minutes for him, and he gets €3.50 for that. If he accepts, I, as a passenger, get the message that I get a ride, and the driver's sat-nav system guides him directly to where I am, to the airport, and to his original destination. That's what we're doing. We have started the company in May last year, and we will start a technology test, a Germany-wide technology test, invitation only next week.
OK. So if you want to get invited and you want to do ride sharing, send an email to Klaus.
Exactly.
Beres, who are you?
Thank you very much. We are the company bringing electric vehicles on the road, actually. A lot of people talking about e-mobility, a lot of people do research. We already have several producers producing cars, scooters, motorbikes, and we sell them in Germany. We have our own shop very close to this hotel. We have 14 partners all over Germany. They are franchisees doing the same business. So we had other companies getting very fast into the market, selling, renting, do long-term renting for electric vehicles. We started 2.5 years ago, and we had a turnover of around 1 million last year already. And yeah, it's looking good, it's fun, and let's go on.
And I learned that you got the idea in China. How did you get the idea and why?
I lived in China, I studied there, I learned the language, and maybe a lot of you know already that in China e-mobility is since 10 years or 15 years already on the market. In the moment you have around 130, 140 million electric scooters and bicycles on the road. I saw this in China and I had the idea of bringing this back to Germany, and that's how it started all.
And why are the Chinese so far ahead in e-mobility, especially on two wheels?
Because they all come from the bicycle, they earn money, they have more money to spend, but for a car it's too much, so they want a scooter or electric bicycle or a gasoline-driven one, but the Chinese government forbidden a lot of gasoline-driven two-wheelers in the cities, so the market for electric two-wheelers was very, very big, and it's still growing very fast.
Michael, Car2gether, Daimler Business Innovation, give us your pitch.
I do. Yeah, I'm from Daimler, the inventor of the automobile 125 years ago. We did this. So you could ask yourself, why Daimler? We have heard a lot this morning about changing individual mobility. We discover and have the feeling as well that there's something going on there. Of course, especially if you look at younger people, 70% still opt to buy a car or to own a car. But 30% here in Germany, and there are similar studies all over the world, 30% say, actually, yes, a car is very important for me. I want to use it, but I don't necessarily have to own it. So as a premium manufacturer, I think it's very important to address these mobility needs, actually all mobility needs, not only for those 70%, but also for the 30 other %. And the first answer to this has been Car2go, which has been introduced in Ulm 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago in Austin, and in a few days we are starting in Hamburg. And the second answer, and Car2go is a car sharing, it's ad hoc, it's not station based, you can start whenever you want on the spot based on your smartphone, and you can terminate and end the rental wherever you want and whenever you want.
So it's a one-way system?
One-way system, yeah, the first one. And Car2gether is pretty much the same. I'm with Klaus. We are also looking at the ride sharing, the sharing of rides, matching of empty seats anytime, anywhere, very quickly based on your smartphone or via the web, basically.
I always have the idea, we have too many cars on the street and they take parking space and they are not all very beautiful, and we want to have the urban space back. So I wonder what a big car maker will be doing when we start sharing cars and we will be using less cars. What is the answer of a big car maker to that new trend?
You are talking about cannibalization. To interpret this question as a representative of a car maker. But as I said, I'm sure that there will be also in the future a need for cars, and there are so many fans out there having a car, and those cars will be electrified very soon, very quickly. We will see hybrid vehicles and all other things. So I truly believe that there will be cars in many, many years, but we have to acknowledge and to react to that, or not only react, but act, and offer also solutions for those changing mobility needs.
So, Konrad, who are you and how do you revolutionize mobility?
I am one of the founders of Tamyca, Take My Car. We're actually dealing with this problem of vehicles standing, just being parked in our streets. They're sitting there for 23 hours out of 24 hours, so we thought, what service could we design? So we match them with drivers in their neighborhoods, and we call this private car sharing. So we're not B2C, but we're C2C car sharing. And it's very interesting because you don't need to produce new cars like Car2go or like Flinkster, DB car sharing. They're all buying or acquiring new cars, and this costs not only money that the driver pays in the end, but it also it also means that you produce 6 tons of carbon dioxide, which is bad for the environment as well. So we developed a service, a website, a platform, Tamyca.com, and you can go online and you can upload your vehicle, and people in your neighborhood can actually book it through the website, and it's being insured. And we thought about processes, and yeah, it's very new. We started in November, and we already have 400 cars online, and it's going really well. Yeah, that's the story.
And the trick about private car sharing is, of course, the insurance tariff. You need to invent a new type of insurance, because people are afraid if they borrow their car to some other user that it will get returned in a bad shape. So please explain to us how did you invent this new insurance tariff, and was it complicated, and so on?
Okay, so we have a very strong partner. It's called the Württembergische, which is one of the top car insurers in Germany.
Yeah.
And we invented like an on-demand insurance that only covers all the risk involved in this type of business. And the main point is that you have what we call Vollkasko, which means that if the driver damages the car and it's completely destroyed, Württembergische pays for it, so it's all safe, right? That's a big point. And then you have other sidekick products, and we're still working on this to improve, and we have some stuff in the pipeline. But I'm not going into the details. We think about this, and we developed a good product, and it's all on our website, and you can talk to me later, and I'll explain it in detail.
As we earlier learned from Gregor of Bain & Company, the future of mobility is not really driven by the Germans in terms of electrification, and it is maybe driven, as we can see here on the panel, when it comes to new business models. But I have now a funky question. What would you do if you were the CEO of Daimler in order to accelerate the future of mobility? What would you do? What is the most important thing that they are missing, that you already have thought about and that you can share with us?
We are very ambitious, but careful. Also, we're quite careful. I would rethink a couple of issues regarding infrastructure. Well, that's the task that we are concerned with. Currently, they are doing a lot of very interesting things and projects. For example, smart chargings, and they have a component newly developed and presented a couple of months ago, smart charge and communication unit, and that fits very well into a concept by RWE, for example. And I think it's a whole range of very, very interesting tasks that can be dealt with by that unit, but still it leaves room for a lot of intelligence in the infrastructure. And there's only a little piece of thought really missing to enhance that piece of already existing electronics, so that it cannot only measure and communicate and so on, but that it can also meter, for example, right? That is more or less a legal issue, whether something that is measured is regarded as metering within the legal framework. And if once you deal with that, you have a piece of electronic in the car that enables access to the grid almost everywhere for, well, let's say, compared with what is currently proposed for nothing, right? And that I would address that issue really importantly. We are open to present that issue or to discuss that in further detail. I think that is what we're doing on a daily basis to try to promote that thought. And apart from this, I would rethink the size of the battery. We think that for most applications, a small battery would very well fit into the typical use cases in day-to-day life, and with regard to the mileage that is done with short distances and the importance of intra-urban transport and future traffic, it would be, we think, very recommendable to rethink the size of the battery. So currently the design of these cars, and I do not mean how to enter the car to exit and whether it's a front, whether it looks funky or not. I think this, the design driven by functionality is very important. But if you think of mileage, you think of gasoline and of 500 and 700 kilometers. And people still think it is important to have more range than 50 kilometers. But usually it's not.